this is one of the topics that is going to be a basic in Algebra 2. Up until now, you've known how to find an answer. Now I need you to understand what a solution is. What is that answer that I just found? What does it mean? All right. So what is a solution? Let's take something nice and simple. We don't need to do any math. We just need to look at it and know what the answer is. Well, 2 is the answer because 2 plus 3 equals 5. And we know that by just looking at it. So the solution to this equation is 2. And the reason it's 2 is because it makes this a true statement. An equation is a mathematical statement. And so 2 makes the statement true. And that right there is the most important thing you can learn today, is that a solution makes it true. And I'll give you another idea to think about. What if we said 3? Is 3 a solution? Well, you know it's not, but let's talk about why it's not. It's not because if I put 3 in for x, which is of course what a solution is, if I put 3 in there, 3 plus 3 does not equal 5. So the statement that we created is false. 3 plus 3 does not equal 5. 2 is the only thing that will make this a true statement. And since 2 is the only thing that will make this a true statement, it means that there's only one solution. So let's take one that's a little bit harder, but not hard enough really. Okay, so what is the solution? Well, if we stare at it for just a minute, I think what we'll realize is that we need to try 3. So instead of doing the algebra, what we're going to do is we're going to try 3. We think maybe 3 is it. So we're going to use either our brain, or a few of you can use your calculator. But if we put 3, if we substitute 3 in, we get 2 times 3 plus 3. So that's 6 plus 3. So we get 9 equals 9. We balance the equation, 9 on one side, 9 on the other. So we created a true statement, and therefore that's our solution. So now, having said that, what is a solution in Algebra 2? A solution is something that makes it true. It's something that makes the statement true. Well, is that the only thing? Well, let's try it out and see. Let's just try another number. What if x were 6? 2 times 6 plus 3. So that's 12 plus 3, so that's 15. And 15 does not equal 9, therefore that is not our solution. Now this skill right here that you just learned of taking something and putting it in, substituting in, most of you call it plugging in, but this skill is critical in Algebra 2. Because there are going to be lots of times when no matter how hard you work and you think you have the answer, you are going to have to put it back in, substitute it back in, and check to see. And I'll give you an example. Now that's kind of nasty little booger, isn't it? Well, eventually you're going to have to learn how to solve that. But let's say I worked and worked and I thought maybe one of these was the answer. How would I decide or double check or make sure? Well, I would take my calculator in my brain and I would substitute the numbers in. So I would take -3 and I would put it wherever x is, and I'd use my brain or my calculator, and I would come up with -16/3. So what does that tell me? That is not a solution, because what was I trying to get? I was trying to get -4. Alright, so now let's put in -1, and I put in -1 wherever x is, and I use my brain or my calculator, and I get -4. So having done these two things, what do I now know? I know that the solution to this problem is -1, and I know it's a solution because it made the equation true. So are we sure we understand what is a solution? A solution makes it true. All right? So we have our definition now. Solutions make math statements true. So now I have x squared equals 16. And everybody in the room went, oh yeah, it's 4. Because 4 times 4 is 16. So we know 4 is a solution. But -4 times -4 is also positive 16. We can't forget those negatives. So, there are two solutions to this equation. Now you should have seen a little bit of this in Algebra 1, but we might have to pull it out of the back of our brain. But now we know there are two solutions. So the solutions are 4 and -4 because either one of those will make the statement true. What's the most important thing we're learning today? Makes it true. So let's try this one. Well, I think before we try the algebra, let's just think outside the box here for a minute. Let's try a couple of numbers and just think about it. Because remember, substituting numbers in is a very critical skill in Algebra 2. So we're going to substitute 3. Let's put 3 in. So we put 3 wherever x is. So 3 plus 3 is 6, and 3 plus 5 is 8. Well, that didn't work out very well, did it? So what we have just discovered is that 3 is not a solution, didn't we? Well, before we get to the algebra, let's try another number. Well, let's try 0. 0 must work. So let's put 0 in for x's. And 0 plus 3 is 3. And 0 plus 5 is 5. Well, that didn't work either. Is somebody beginning to think about something about now? Well, let's go ahead and try the algebra for it. Of course, you would subtract. Why don't we subtract 3 from both sides first? Or, yeah, let's subtract 3 from both sides and try to move all the numbers to one side. And now we got x equals x plus 2. And let's subtract x from both sides so that we get all the x's on the other side. And, what does that mean? 0 cannot equal 2. That's impossible. So what does this mean? Has everybody figured it out yet? Well, what this means is there is no solution. This is a broken equation. No matter how hard I try, no matter what numbers I try, there is no solution. And in Algebra 2, you must know when this happens, because it will happen. So I got something and I know it's not a solution. How do I tell somebody? Because everything you will do in Algebra 2 will be about you telling people the answer in the correct way. So if there is no solution, that is called a null set, which means there's nothing there. Null means nothing. And that 0 with a line does not mean 0. That 0 with a line means no, there's nothing that will work. So far in Algebra 1 we had one answer. We've already discovered that sometimes we have two answers. And now we've discovered that we can have no answer? Okay, I'm not liking this Algebra 2 so far. How about you? Well, let's look at a different one. Well, that's kind of messed up. So let's distribute and add things together. And well, that looks weird, doesn't it? 3x plus 12 equals 3x plus 12. I'm thinking something weird is going to happen. Let's go ahead and let's do the algebra. Let's move the x's. See if we can't. Oh, wait a minute. the x's disappeared, and now I just have 12 equals 12. Well, that's not the same as what we had before. We had 12 equals like 15. So something different is happening here. I think we should try a couple of numbers. Let's just pick a number and try it and see what is happening. So let's pick 1. You see 1 right here. Everywhere there was an x, I put a 1. Everything where there was an x, I put a 1. Okay. And then I combine like terms. 3 times 5 is 15, and 2 times 1 is 2, and I added those together, and I got, well, there's that 15 equals 15 thing again. I bet that's a message that I'm supposed to know. So let's try a different number. Let's try 2. We tried 1. Let's try 2. Well, 2 plus 4 is 6, and 3 times 6 is 18, and 2 times 2 is 4, and 12 plus 2 is 14. And when we add all that up, has anybody come up with an idea? So any number we try will work? Oh yeah. Look at that back up there at the very beginning. 3x plus 12 equals 3x plus 12. They're equal. So I could put anything in there. I could put 0 in there. I could put negative 5 in there. Doesn't matter what I put in there. It's still going to work. Well, if any number will work, what is the solution to the equation? Well, there are infinite solutions. Anything will work. So if there are infinite solutions, how do I tell somebody? What do I say to somebody that lets them know there are infinite solutions? Well, there are infinite solutions, and any number will work. Our solution set is all real numbers, and this little r right here is a fancy way of saying all real numbers, because anything will work. Because anything will make a true statement. So we're right back to that. Solutions make it true, and you're going to have to know how to do that. So, what was key today? Solutions make equations into true statements. You're going to have to understand how to do it, how to prove it, not just find it. You're going to have to be able to prove it. We already realized now from Algebra 1 we can have one solution, but now we know there can be 2 solutions, there may even be 3 solutions. We know there are things that are broken and have no solutions. And we know that there are things out there that when we actually do our math and we clean it up, anything will work, infinite solutions. So Algebra 2 is not just about finding the solution. Now you have to prove whether it actually works or not. So you're going to have to understand what is a solution and how to prove it. Because eventually we're going to get to things like extraneous solutions. Okay, that's just making my head hurt now. So, just like in the matrix, don't let the numbers control you. You need to control the numbers in Algebra 2.